Y'all? I finally got this thing to work, but I'm excited to jump right into our topic, what we're going to be talking about today. And we're talking about how to stay inspired for the long haul and not burn out. And the reality of it is that can be a very hard thing to do. And I am not an expert in this, but I have failed a lot over the years of my on again, off again content creation journey that I have been experiencing. But the reality is, like, I am just super excited to jump into this and get going here. And I think you guys can hear me, but you couldn't see me for like 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm working out the kinks. But yeah, no, I'm just really excited to jump right into what we have for today. Like I said before, we're diving into the topic of staying inspired for the long haul. So basically, I'm just going to share with you how I got into the content creation my content creation journey, some of the things that all of us as content creators deal with when it comes to burnout, some of the things that you might see when you're going through burnout and things of that nature. I'm also going to be talking about some of the things and tools and systems that I'm putting in place in order to get beyond that time of burnout, or honestly, instead of rehabbing myself from burnout, how can I maintain a level where I don't get too high and I don't get too low? So those are the things that we are going to be talking about. And very quickly, just to get us started here, if you are a content creator, write down in the comments, what are some things that you deal with when it comes to burnout, or when do you see burnout approaching? Yeah, what are some of the things that you see within yourself if you're a content creator, or you're even an aspiring content creator and you've put out some things and you're like, I don't know if this is for me because I can't stay consistent. I know for myself, burnout looks like impatience. I start blaming the algorithm on why it's not showing people my content so I can grow more or get more views, or people are not engaging enough in the comments. I know that's when I start to experience, or when I'm about to like approach burnout. Those are some of the things that I deal with, and that kind of goes hand in hand with getting irritable. I'm trying to say irritability. But that when I get in a very irritable space, I tend to then not really focus on what I'm doing. And with those two things of irritability and impatience, I then get into a space where I have all these ideas in my head, but I don't really feel like pressing record. It isn't necessarily fun anymore. And I know a healthy content creator, Daniel, looks like an individual that has more of an even keel, go with the flow. Sometimes you get views, sometimes you don't. Sometimes people engage, sometimes people don't. Sometimes you just put out really bad content and, sometimes it's really great and people engage. It really depends on the audience that you're connecting with and so on. So that's what I've learned in my content creator journey at this point. And it's very frustrating to go through that burnout and literally know that you can create more, but you're not able to. You don't feel like pressing record. You've maybe recorded a whole bunch of things, you've batch recorded all of your content, but you don't actually feel like releasing it and going through the process of putting it on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all the other platforms like LinkedIn and so on. Some of the other common things that you can deal with that when you're going through creative fatigue or burnout, I actually wrote these down, is chronic fatigue, is loss of creativity. That's when you have that, creative block. I feel like a lot of creators go through that, and we're going to talk about how to essentially get over that. Like I said, these are the things that are working for me. Maybe there are some things that are working for you. So if you have ways that you get to beyond your creative block, write those down in the comments. Emotional exhaustion, physical symptoms like headaches and insomnia. I don't know if it's that deep, but I have lost sleep because I feel like I should be creating and I'm not doing what I know I'm made to do. I have this premise. I am a believer. I am a Christian in particular, and I do believe that because a creative God created me, that makes me creative as well. So I was made to create. That's like the premise and the context that I come from, so you have an idea how I approach creation and different things of that nature. So I know I'm made to create, but when I'm not doing or walking in the purpose that I was believed and then placed on this earth to do, I do lose sleep over that. So procrastination, decline in the quality of work that I'm usually putting out. It's just very rushed. There's no really real thought and process that goes into it or anything of that nature. So yeah, lack of motivation. We kind of talked about that. Having the ideas but not wanting to actually do that. Isolation, cutting yourself off from like your creative community and people that you would usually like be around. Impatience, irritability. Yeah, we talked about that as well. Those are some of the things that I deal with. And neglecting self-care. That's a really big one, honestly, where you're just not doing things that you know you're supposed to do. And there are about 2 things that I have put in place around the self-care place that are non-negotiables that I will talk about in a second. And I also have a little gift for you that we'll get to in a second as well. And so I started my personal journey in content creation in particular. It all started with the Canon PowerShot. It was digital camera back in the early 2000s, and that's where my journey started. And then I had a friend, Michael James, in university that got a really good prosumer camera, and he allowed me to use it, and I immediately got hooked on that. And I see Mike in there. What up, bro? I see Roz, Kevron, all you guys, Dion, what's up? Yeah, and like it really just kind of took over my life. And one of the first big purchases I made as soon as I got a job that actually had money and I was out of my master's when I came back from the States to Canada, is I bought this camera. It's a Canon Rebel T5i. I feel like everybody starts with like the Rebel series. I don't know. If you do have a camera, if you're a camera enthusiast, or even if you have a camera to take pictures of individuals that are in your household, let me know in the comments what camera you have and what you actually use. So yeah, so like I immediately just kind of picked up this camera, and I actually won it at a silent auction at my church. In particular, I had to beat one of the elders, not literally beat out one of the elders in outbidding them, so to speak. Yeah, we don't promote elder abuse here. But yeah, essentially you had to write down your number, and whoever got the highest one, paid for it. And I paid way less than this was actually worth at the time. And that's how my content journey started. I started with taking pictures of individuals and posting it up on my Instagram page. And it morphed into people wanting me to take pictures of them. And then I figured that I wanted to essentially do something that would be like more so teaching and showing some of the things that I liked to do on YouTube. So in 2019, right before the pandemic, I actually started my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, and I said I was going to commit to like posting and all of that, but that happened for a little bit. Then COVID hit, and I was posting practically every week. I think I was posting 2 times a week at one point, and then COVID started to, the world started to open back up, and then there I was, back stuck with a job that I didn't necessarily want to be in, that was draining me, and I couldn't post on my YouTube and things of that nature. And like I said, I felt like this was my calling in particular, but I wasn't living in that calling per se. So it was very interesting, to say the least, how all of this kind of came to be, and with this YouTube channel and all of that. And I've been on this journey to figure out how I can be more consistent, but how I can do things effectively, so I don't necessarily I don't necessarily flat out burn out. And I have gone through the healthy and burnout moments so many times over the course of when I started my YouTube channel in 2019 to where I am now. And I'm still just starting, to be honest. And it's been a joy to figure out some of those things. And these are some of the things that I deal with when I am going through burnout, or these are some of the things that I'm doing, that I have done to get me through burnout. Is the first thing is I remind myself of my why. Yeah, that's like a really big thing. My why is the most important thing. And I've already kind of given you what the reason I create is. And my why is simply, like I said before, I honestly do believe that I was made to create, and by a creative God. So this is how I express myself. This is how I share the things that I love, is through this medium of video content. And I also do some photography, but mainly these days it's been very much so video heavy. So if you didn't know this, I am a full-time videographer and filmmaker at this point. I'm doing my first documentary that's still being edited, and that's going slowly, but it's coming along. And I also I help businesses get their message out, their services, their products. I try to help elevate their brand or whatever that they're selling to their customers, or if they're selling to another business or something of that nature. I try to figure out how I can create stories around this to help people level up their sales, and essentially, and that's what I seek to do. And because I do this, like I'm always figuring out how I can make better content, how I can tell better stories. That's literally all this YouTube channel is all about. It's about gear, how to use it, and how to tell better stories with the gear that you have. That's literally what it is. So if you love that, go ahead and subscribe. Yes, shameless plug. I had to put it in there. But that's exactly what I'm always looking to do. So when I go through these moments of burnout, the very first thing that I'm thinking of or I'm going back to is my why. Okay, so what are the reasons that I create? I already told you my really big idea. The second one is that I actually want to make a living out of this as well. And if I'm going to do that, then I need a hustle. And mainly the reason why it's always on the forefront of my mind is because I have a 4-year-old, I have a wife as well. We are a young family and definitely have needs. You know what I mean? We gotta hustle. We gotta definitely hustle. So like that's the mindset that I have. Like I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm not just doing this because I have this really great mission that's on my life. I also have a family that I need to provide for. So that's definitely my why. But the third thing that falls under this mission, so to speak, my mission to myself, my mission to my family, is mission to people like yourselves that are content creators or are people that are interested or people just like to be entertained by watching how much money I'm spending on my gear and all this other stuff. And the reality is I want to create a community of individual, or I am creating a community of individuals that's whole purpose is to essentially tell better stories with the gear that they have. And if they need other gear, I want to be that broker, so to speak, to help you figure out what you actually need versus you just buying everything, right? So that is also the space. So that's like the big mission, like the calling on my life, and then the mission to my family, then is the mission to you as well, to the people that I'm serving as I do this content. Like that's what I love to do. This is what I'm all about. So like really redefine or define what your why is when you go through those burnout moments. And this is something that I have done. And a really cool thing that has helped me, and this is gonna sound really like we know all this stuff. Yes, I know that, but maybe you need to be reminded of some of this stuff as well. The reality is that many people are visual. And even if you aren't visual, adding a different component from what is written down to what you actually can see might help cement your why in your head a lot more. So I think this was about maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I created a vision board. Everything from like what I want my YouTube page to look like, how much more I want to give to the people that are subscribers and followers on Instagram and YouTube and all of that stuff. Like that's what I have down on my why am I blanking out on my vision board, right? These are some of the things that I put down because they're important to me. And now I'm not just creating a vision board and just leaving it on the side. Like I legit look at that thing for like 5 to 10 minutes every single morning. I may not necessarily be the person that has a mantra and says this and that and so on, but yeah, I have one of my favorite scriptures on there as well. Like I have people that I admire in their content creation journey, and just reminding myself to like lock back in, you know what I mean? So like that's like what keeps me focused and moving forward every single time. So yeah, those are some of the things that I do to kind of like get out of that space of getting burnt out and so on. And if like you don't even necessarily need to be a content creator, but how do you get out of your slumps? How do you get out of a burnout in particular? I would love to see what you're saying about that as well. It would be really cool to hear like some of the things that you do, and that would just add to some of the things that I do as well. And who knows, maybe I get an idea from you and I steal it from you. Yeah, and like I told you, like I have added 2 things that are non-negotiable when it comes to my self-care and content creation. First thing is I'm not anymore like, okay, I'm not gonna say never because this does happen. I'm not editing late into the night anymore, because the reality is I wake up and I'm like, yo, what did you even do? Like, this is trash. You got to do this over again. So not only am I not focused, but I lose sleep for absolutely nothing, and I wake up to redo what I did the previous night. So I'm not editing late into the night anymore. Rather, I'm just going to wake up really early. So I'll go to sleep really early, and then I'll wake up and essentially I'll wake up and essentially just get to editing, and my brain's a lot fresher. I can retain a lot more information. The ideas are coming, the creativity is creating, you know, all of that. Like, it's really great. And the second thing is, this may not necessarily be one for you, but for me, this is very important. No more skipping gym days to record, edit, do content, or anything of that nature. I get energy from going to the gym, and that's one of the places that I demonstrate discipline is in the gym itself. So I am trying my best to not be that guy that essentially skips out on the gym in order to create content. Like, I'm not going to do that. So those are the two non-negotiables for me. So Dion, what did you say? I speak to my wife and friends and get grounded in the belief that I am doing this for a reason bigger than myself. And that's 100%. That's one of the reasons why I do this. Like, I'm doing it, it's much bigger than myself. It's not just for my own gratification or anything of that nature, but it's literally like just a calling on my life, and that's how honestly I see things. So those are some of the things that I do in particular in order to get myself out of burnout, is reminding myself why I'm creating a vision board, not editing late into the night, and rather waking up early, and no skipping gym days in order to record or edit. What did you say, Kevron? Sometimes it takes a day or a few days to disconnect from a vision and be present in life, then revisit the vision from the ground up seems to help me re-engage with more passion and get creative. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's the very thing that I think of as well. And which brings, this is a perfect bridge, so thank you, Kevin. Which brings us to staying inspired. I think this is probably one of the hardest things to do, is to stay inspired. And I can't remember where I put that book, but the very first thing that I do in particular is that I have a book that I write my notes in, and I probably should have got this out from before, but that's okay. It's right here, and I appreciate all the comments on the space and whatnot. This is my new studio that I'm working out of. It's been 3 months or so. So yeah, that's been cool. But yeah, one of the things that I do is that I have a notebook that is literally just full of ideas. I always have this notebook with me, so I'm always prepared. I have a pen with me, all of that. So there's no place that I go that I can't just write it down. Now, some people do it in their notes on their phone, which is cool. Like, if you rather do things more digitally, that's cool too. I absolutely love that for you, but that's not necessarily for me. Like, I need something that I can literally just like write down all the things that I can possibly create, and then I have that there. And that for me, what this does is, like, when I first got this notebook, I was challenged by a content creator. He's absolutely amazing, Sean Cannell, I should say, from Think Media. He's on YouTube, he's on Instagram, he's on everywhere, honestly, and he does really great work. And one of the first thing that he challenged me to do when I was taking his course, and still am taking a part of his course actually, is that to write down 100 ideas. If you don't have 100 ideas that you can literally just crank out when you are inspired, then maybe you don't have content to post. So that's literally what Yeah, that's literally what the challenge was. So I literally wrote down 100 different ideas that I could possibly create on Instagram and on YouTube, and I have that bank. But the key is you do it when you're inspired. The reality is you're not always inspired. You do go through slumps. You do go through creative blocks and all of that stuff. But if you can harness your creativity when you are creative, like, man, that's the goal. That's the good stuff. So when you go into those slumps, you have a whole bunch of things that you put in this book that can help you stay creative. And that's really cool. Like I actually really love that I can actually go back and peek into 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, Daniel's mind, and see like what was happening, and I write down little notes on how to create things. So when I'm going through a slump, now I have like all this gold to like go back and like create. So that's one of the ways that I stay inspired. I harness my creativity and literally run it out. So when I have those creative blocks and I'm not creating off the top of my dome and different things of that nature, I can then now go back and take a peek into that. Another thing is exploring new avenues of creativity. This is one that I am learning to lean into, but I can't say that I'm doing that doing that more often than not. I remember when I was in a creative slump. This was probably maybe about a year ago or 2 years ago, and I literally just went to an art museum just to see art. Because I was in a slump. I needed to figure something else out, and just kind of like open up my mind to new creative ideas and so on. And maybe that will help me. Now, maybe you can't necessarily go to an art museum, but maybe you can browse other creators on Instagram. That might be something that works for you. Some people, there's debate on this. You can let me know what you think in the comments. Does looking at other creators inspire you to create? Some people think it's more so draining than anything else. Other people say that, yeah, why not go and be inspired by somebody else creating? The greatest form of inspiration sometimes is imitation. So you can find what others are doing, imitate that, but not necessarily copy it. So do something that is close to, but not exactly what they are doing in particular. So yeah, what are a few comments here? So WC, I am local. I'm local to Edmonton in particular. Ross, there can be beauty in the struggle. Definitely. Definitely can be beauty in the struggle for sure. But yeah, so these are some of the things that like I do in order to help myself stay inspired. And the last one is probably the biggest one of them all, is pouring into my community and collaboration. I'll use the example of Dion the Creative, also another really great YouTuber, small YouTuber like myself. You guys should go check him out to see his channel and all that great stuff. The reality is we have never actually met in person. We got connected via YouTube. He saw some of what I was doing, and then I think he reached out to me on Instagram. And then I saw what he was doing before I messaged him back. I was like, oh, he's dope, cool. So we just started messaging back and forth and so on. And we push each other, we inspire each other, all of that. And leaning into people that inspire you or have become your creative community is probably one of the biggest things that you can do. Another good friend of mine here in the city in Edmonton, his YouTube channel is Just Bobby T, awesome creator as well. He definitely is an individual that I found on Instagram, and I literally reached out to him, and I said like, yeah, let's just grab coffee because first of all, I saw he was Jamaican, and a black creator here in Edmonton. Like, I was still under the opinion that black people weren't in Edmonton for real. And so when I found him and black creators at that as well, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like absolutely crazy. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey bro, let's grab coffee, whatever. And we grabbed coffee, and immediately after the very first time that we met, I said, so bro, you're gonna be my mentor. And he's like, cool. And it's turned more into more of a friendship than a mentee mentorship type thing. We're more so peer mentors at this point, but that relationship has definitely deepened my content creation journey as well. I'm often picking the brain of my wife as well, who's awesome, also an amazing content creator on Instagram. Her tag is at More Than a Mama series, and I'm always picking her brain to kind of see what she's doing or what she thinks of things. I appreciate her feedback as well, and I see her in the comments. What's up, babe? Yeah, that has been like just absolutely amazing to pick her brain because she also thinks that way as well. But there's like a whole host of people that are in my life and in and around my community in particular that I continue to be poured, that they continue to pour into me as I pour into them as well. And it's just amazing. So I appreciate all of you that pour into me, and I hope that whatever you guys get from me is good as well, right? So like the value of community and collaboration is huge. Now these are like just organic stuff that happen, but also like if you really want to take it to the next level too, like, yeah, sure, you can spend money on gear, but like, are you spending money on courses? Yeah, are you spending money on like what's going into your head? Are you reading books? Are you doing all the things that can possibly help you create better stories, better content that that engages people in a way that it leaves them leaving inspired and fulfilled, rather than like, oh my gosh, he's so good or she's so good, I can never get to their level. Like, I want every single person that comes to my page and to my Instagram to leave thinking I can do that too, right? Like that's the mindset that I have, and that's why I'm doing some of these things. And yeah, I absolutely love doing that. But yeah, I could talk about this for a lot longer. But yeah, find a community, whether that's organic, or if you don't have organic community, there's like a lot of amazing communities. I'm part of Sean Cannell's Think Media community on Facebook, and I also have done his course. I'm a part of Art of Documentary community as well, Mark Bones community on Facebook, and he has an amazing YouTube page. If you're looking to get into filmmaking and different things of that nature, that's a great place to start. There's so many different communities that and different things that you can do. I also picked up like another like it was like 40 or 50 bucks USD. It's called 1P Creative, and like the stuff that I've learned from them has given me the confidence to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like it's been absolutely amazing to take that course and now apply it to my content journey. So yeah, those are the things that I'm doing to stay inspired. But it's one thing to stay inspired and have a book full of ideas, but all you have is a book full of ideas if you're not executing. It's not content until you actually post it. So just post. But in order for me to get to the place of just posting and doing lives and different things of that nature and all that I need to do, I actually need to go ahead and have a game plan. And this is where the planning part comes into place. And for all of you that are here in the comments itself, you don't have to click on it now because then you'll leave, and I don't want you to leave, but you can see it later, and I'll show this to you here on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. Oh, Bobby's in the building. What up, bro? Your first was Rebel T I1. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That is crazy. And I think Dion said it was an it was a SL1, I think it was for you, Dion. Yeah, I think it was somewhere back there. But yeah, in the comments you'll have the link to go and get what I'm about to show you here. It is a content pillar. And just to give you an idea of what a content pillar is, if I can get this up, this is not working. It's all right, just give me a second and I'll figure it out. Yeah, here we go. Good. All right, cool. So SL2, okay, you had an SL2. All right, dope. So yeah, no, I'm gonna show you guys this here in a second once it starts working here. So yeah, setting content pillars. And just to give you a rundown of what content pillars are essentially these boxes, so to speak, where all of your content lives in. Like for myself, it could possibly be gear. It could be content creation, storytelling, how-tos and stuff like that. So these are like the boxes that I create my content for. But there's other things that there are topics or categories that you can place them into, and I'm about to show that to you here in a second. Here we go. All right, cool. Just let me know if you can see that in the comments, because this is my first time doing this. But these are the categories I'm talking about. Mistakes, myths, tips, inspiration, belief shift, objection, social proof, and promotional. So let's go ahead and use some ideas. Like if you write down something in the comments of what you want me to put in the focus area, we can populate it that way, and then after we can go ahead and like kind of talk about just a few of these. We're not going to go through all of them. We're not going to fill out all the boxes. I promise I'm not going to be keeping you here forever. But just to get an idea is these are the categories that you have here on the side. Just give me a focus. It can be absolute anything. I'll put the first one down. I can put storytelling, yeah, storytelling is going to be my first one here. And I'll put another one. I can put gear. If I don't get anything from any of y'all, I'm just going to put it in myself. All right, cool. Another one is, we said storytelling, gear, let's say content creation, which this falls under that in particular. Okay, cool. Work-life balance. We'll just call that work-life balance, because we don't have enough space there. I mean, technically we do. I'm just being lazy. There we go. And one more. Jordan, or Jordan, sorry, my bad. I don't know why I said Jordan. Jordan, yeah, Jesus, okay, love it. All right, cool. So yeah, okay, so these are some of the things, right? Cool. So if we're talking about storytelling, storytelling. Oh, Mike, you put in checking the scene. We can do that one as well. So for instance, if we wanted to do gear, and we can do and we're doing myths. This is the intersection here. We're doing gear and myths. I am going to do something like, let's see, three myths that is holding you back from buying that camera. It's not the most dialed in title, but like you get the point, right? Yeah, so like that could definitely be one, right? 3 myths that is holding, sorry, can't spell. 3 myths that is holding you back from buying that camera. That could be one. All right, cool. Let's do, and somebody, you can pick one of these as well, and I'll do one of them. You can tell me which one you want to do and which category, and we can do that as well. Let's do work-life balance, inspiration. I really like the number 3, but we can do 7 tips. 7 tips on achieving the work-life balance of let's say the best work-life balance of your life. These are really bad, but you get the point, right? So this is the intersection between inspiration and work-life balance. And you give 7 inspirational, see, I told you I love the number 3. 7 inspirational tips on how you can achieve the best work-life balance of your life, period, right? Cool. Let's do this. And like I said, if you want this template, I have it both in the PDF and also in Word documents down in the description. You just go to my website and you can download that. There's other things there too. You can take them as well. They're yours. But yeah, those are there. Okay. Okay, let's do Jesus. Okay, so Jesus. Ooh. 3 misconceptions about Jesus that changed my life. Right? So that is something that can be done. All right. So I'll do one more, and then we'll be done with this. But you know, like for somebody that is in business in particular, and they want to be a little bit more promotional. The whole idea is you give away as much content as you possibly can for free, and then actually promote your business or whatever you're doing, right? So say you've done the 3 MEPs, you've done the 7 tips, you've done the 3 misconceptions, and now you want to promote your storytelling course or your content, I put content creation, your content creation course. 3 ways my content creation course will make you more money. Right? So that could be the hook, right? And you're giving those 3 ways that your content creation course will help that person make more money in a free way. And you're giving like a little snippet of what your course is about to be about. So promotional, and then you say, hey, if you want the link to this course or whatnot, or the first video of the course before you pay for the rest of it, put whatever in the comments and I'll send it to you, right? So there you go. That's a way that you can create something there. Okay, and I'll do one more. So I didn't see Kevron's business product launch. Business, we don't have, so yeah, that would essentially be what I just did, right? Your business product launch. So there we go. I ended up hitting that anyway. Did I miss any one of them? Checking the scene, yeah. So checking the scene, like let's just say that we're doing checking the scene here, and we'll do tips. This should have been here instead of inspiration. But yeah, let's paste that there. Sorry, I can be a little OCD sometimes. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, so let's do the checking the scene. and say you're doing three tips, three three things to look for when checking your location, right? So there we go. Like that could definitely be one. So I appreciate all of you guys that have yeah, I appreciate all of you guys, like, adding to this and so much. And just to give you an idea of what we're talking about is we're talking about content creation and how to stay inspired over a long period of time rather than burning out every single time you try to start and you can't stay consistent. You have these really great spells of dialing into your work and all of that great stuff, and then you can't necessarily get back to that productivity you have because you're climbing out of burnout every single time and things of that nature. Is there a way to essentially stay creative and stay consistent over a long period of time? So we've talked about a whole bunch of different things, whether that's using a notebook and writing 100 ideas in that notebook in particular, before you actually start, before you even press record. So when you get into those slumps, at least you have like an entire book of ideas that you can essentially, that you can essentially pull from. So those are some of the things that we're talking about, Jordan, as you just asked there in the comments. So all of this is to the point of staying consistent in content creation and not burning out, but staying level, not too high, not too low, but staying consistent in particular. So yeah, this is something that you can definitely use. Like I said, the link is in the description, and you can, yeah, check it out, try it out, play around with it, have fun. Like I said, there's both a Word document and a PDF in particular if you, you want to move to that. So yeah, so that was one of the resources that I'm giving away to you as well. And what is the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about? And I'm pretty much almost done here is, while you are, you plan out your content in your content pillar scheduler and all this great stuff, you also want to have an idea of what you're posting on what days. Like I just put together a schedule for 2025 on what I want to be doing on what days. Sundays, I want it to be a live stream day. Mondays, I also want it to be a live stream day as well. I don't know if I'm actually going to be live streaming back to back, but I know for sure moving forward, I'm going to be here Mondays at 7 o'clock. That's the goal, right? And then you also want to figure out, what am I doing on Tuesday and Wednesday? Like, when am I posting? Where am I posting? What type of content? Is it a carousel? Is it a reel? Is it a live? Is it a picture? Like all of those things, and really cool tools that you can use to help you just stay consistent and just always be analyzing some of the things that you're posting out here on YouTube is vidIQ or TubeBuddy. They're really great for like analyzing your posts and different things of that nature. Some of the trends as well. There's a Google, not a Google, but YouTube ideas or inspire tab that you can get ideas from as well. On vidIQ, I pay for that, and they actually give me ideas to create as well. That's really cool. Google, you can literally just type in the first part of your topic, and you can possibly get an answer to what you're looking for. Like here, let me see, if we type it in here on Google and we say 3 ways to get better with my, see, like you're typing all these things and there's a bunch of things that are populating. And sometimes I like when I'm really in a dire need and I want something around what I'm looking for, I'll put things like this in the Google search engine and kind of figure out like what are people searching for, and that can be one way that you kind of figure out like what are people looking for, what are people searching for. Like this is something that you can dial in. And like we talked about already, observing other creators, like that's an also a really like good way of doing things. And the question is, Dion, is vidIQ or are the vidIQ ideas actually really good? Yes and no. Sometimes it's a hit or a miss, but like I have gotten some really great ideas from a vidIQ to either follow up on videos. I think their follow up ideas are better. Like I posted a really good YouTube video that did well for my channel. For like big creators, the amount of views I got was like peanuts, but it saw how well it did, and it gave me a suggestion to make a second video. And the second video I did really well as well. That was my video. I quit my job without a backup plan, the very first one. And then it gave me an idea to do the second one. And the second one did very well for my channel. It didn't do as well as the first one, but it did well. And it definitely brought in more viewers and subscribers and things of that nature. So it definitely could be a pivotal point where you get you might get like 3 or 4 duds, but then there's like 1 out of the 5 that you're like, oh snap, that's actually really good. And then you do it and you're like, oh snap, that actually did really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, we're pretty much done here, but these are some of the things that I'm doing, that I'm putting into like my own content creation, because I honestly, like, if you want to make a deal with me, let's make this deal. If you're really trying to create content, like, let's dial in. Like, not like next year, but like today, you know what I mean? Like, dial in from today and move forward and keep pushing and doing what you need to do in order to create the content that you feel you've been placed on this earth to, because that's what I'm doing. This is why, like, I wanted to do this live, because not only is this for you, but this is also for me. This is like repetition, you know, repetition deepens the impression. I'm reciting these things to myself because this is what I'm doing from now on. I have my content schedule. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know the impact that I could possibly have and different things of that nature, but I'm holding myself back in particular. So if you want to make a deal with me, let's dial in together and like let's actually get to it. Either way, that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, no, I appreciate all of you guys that were on this. It's a really good conversation in the comments as well. I appreciate all the questions and the contributions that you all made. And if you really like this, you know, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, all that great stuff. Like, that'd be really awesome if you did that. And yeah, no, this is absolutely amazing. And like I said, like, I'm planning on being here every Monday, 7 o'clock. We're here, we're grinding together, we're figuring out how to make better content, use the camera better, edit better, different things of that nature. And sometimes it might be just a little bit more relaxed, and you know, I might not have an entire outline of things that I want to like talk about, but we can just have like open and honest conversation on content creation, on camera gear, and different things of that nature. And yeah, that's what the plan is. Either way, that's all for me today. If this is something that blessed your spirit, go ahead and like this. If this is something you want to keep up with, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and all of that great stuff. I can't even remember my own sign out. Anyway, peace guys. Do something creative today.